Welcome to Revenue Growth Live with Darrell Amy. You're about to join an interactive forum where business executives, sales professionals, and marketing leaders share ideas to accelerate growth. While you are here, make sure to like or subscribe to get notifications for future episodes. You're encouraged to get involved in today's live conversation by liking and commenting. Now, let's join Darrell Amy for fresh ideas and innovative strategies to help you grow your business faster.
Welcome back. Get the microphone plugged in, and we're going to have a great time today. Welcome back to Revenue Growth Live. Darrell Amy here. I'm your host. I'm excited today to share with you ideas and strategies to help you grow your business faster with the right types of clients that are going to make you excited to come to work in the morning. Welcome back. If you're here live, I'm glad you're here. I'd love to hear from you in the chat. If you're watching in later, definitely chime in the chat as well. My goal at Revenue Growth Live is to help bring ideas that are going to help you drive revenue growth, sales ideas, marketing ideas. Throughout the week, I get to interact with so many amazing people running companies, leading sales teams, driving marketing initiatives. I get to talk with authors, and we get to work with teams doing revenue growth plans. And in all of that, I get ideas. So I wanted to have a place to share some of those ideas. And the ideas I want to talk about today are actually from some reading I was doing from a recent issue of the Harvard Business Review, and it has to do with a topic that I think is fantastic, and that is, what is the value of your customers? In fact, this article by the leader of Bain & Company is an entire article and model on how to value customers. In fact, he's so passionate about valuing customers, looking at the total potential revenue from a customer. He says that should be something that in publicly traded companies, they should report on in their annual report. Well, you don't have to have a publicly traded company in order to understand that the key to driving revenue is not only to get net new clients, but it's also to add more products and services to maximize your wallet share with your existing clients, or as Jay Abraham would say, to make sure that you are providing the best and highest value to every one of your current clients. So today in Revenue Growth Live, I want to continue our conversation about the value of a current ideal client and the value of a potential ideal client as well. So welcome. Glad you're here. I'd love to hear from you in the chat. Definitely post comments, whether you're watching here on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, YouTube, soon to be on LinkedIn Live, just finalizing the application there, and looking forward to being on that platform as well to share ideas with you. As we're getting started today, though, I want to give a huge shout out to my new friend, James Jacoby. I got to talk to James. He is the author of this amazing book, and I think you'll see by the topic itself, Radical Integrity, that this is right up my alley, and I'm pretty sure it's right up your alley as well. It's about 7 strategies for transforming your business, sales, and life. I got to talk to James on the Revenue Growth Podcast this week. So go to revenuegrowthpodcast.com. Check that out. I'll put the link in the show notes here. And James is just a kindred spirit. I think you're really going to enjoy what he has to say about just being radical and being radical in your integrity in terms of how you communicate with, how you sell to your client base. Just powerful. I'm going to put a link to that in the chat. You can find that podcast as well in Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you consume podcasts. So today, though, I want to focus in on the value of ideal clients. What is the value of your clients? So if you think about going back just to the fundamentals of how to grow business, you'll remember, and this is the foundation of Revenue Growth Engine. It's the foundation of every single business out there. There are only 2 ways, and 2 ways only. I'll share my screen here. There's only 2 ways to grow a business. 1, I get more net new clients, right? I add net new clients. Now, when it comes to growing a business, this is what most people think about. When it comes to growing a business, most people think about, hey, Darrell, I want to go out and I want to get more clients. Well, nothing wrong with that. Definitely good, but it's only half and maybe even less than half of the equation, because the other source of revenue is cross-selling more products, services, and solutions to your current client base. And you've seen the stats. It's quoted in every marketing book. It's 10 times more expensive to go get a new client as opposed to cross-selling more to a current client. I want to flip that on its head. Yeah, sure, it's 10 times more expensive getting a new client. So if you're going to invest the time and money to get a new customer, a new client, why wouldn't you also invest the time, effort, and money to make sure that you are selling them everything that you could? And unfortunately, what we see in a lot of companies that have a net new bias, that's what they're good at, is they go land a new deal and they move on to the next one. Yeah, sure, they may take care of their current clients with good customer service and they may be responsive. But when it comes to growing their business, it's not very strategic. We get a deal and we move on to the next one. Well, what I want to encourage us to think about today is, what's the total value of this client? What's the total value, not just of the initial order, but what would the value be if they were all in, if they had taken advantage of every area where you can help them add value, all of your products, all of your services, all of your solutions at the intervals that are going to be most useful to them. What would that look like if they were taking advantage of all of that? And that's where this article it's by Rob Markey, partner at Bain & Company, in the Harvard Business Review, he asks a very legitimate question here. He says, are you undervaluing your customers? Or put another way, what is the value of a customer? And, just to my marketing friends here, when it comes to looking at ROI on marketing, a lot of times we'll look at, we'll take the cost of marketing and we'll compare it to that first order, net new business. Well, that's great. Nothing wrong with that. But what's the lifetime value of this client if they were to buy everything that you could sell them? And so what we challenge folks to do inside Revenue Growth Engine, and when we're doing revenue growth workshops, I've always thought this lifetime value thing was a little bit fuzzy. I don't know how long they're going to be a client. So what I like to do is I like to think of 10-year value. What's the 10-year value of a client that is all in, that buys everything? I call it 100% sold. What's the 10-year value of a client that takes advantage of every product, service, or solution that you have to offer? What would that client be worth? And what I find over and over again is, if you look at the net new sale, just look at the net new. Let's say the net new sale is $10,000. That's what one net new sale is worth. When you look at your business and you go, okay, what if I cross-sold everything that I could cross-sell to them? I was using this example earlier in the last Revenue Growth Live episode from a financial services company. This week, I've been working with a financial services company, helping them develop a growth strategy. Well, guess what? The good folks over at Fidelity, they say in the financial services world, for every $1 that you have under management with a client, there's actually $7 that you could be managing. What? So there's a total of $8 managed. However, most people in that industry get the $1, whatever they're doing, whether it's retirement or whether they're focused on life insurance or whether they're focused on health insurance. There's all kinds of different things to cross-sell in that industry. They're so focused on the $1 that they ring the bell and go, we got a new client. Let's go. Woo! Awesome, right? Well, what about the other $7, right? And so the interesting thing about that is, if you take a look at that particular example, here, there's an 8x opportunity to cross-sell. 8x. So for every client you bring on board, and Mark Hunter, I love the way Mark Hunter says, we don't close deals, we open relationships. Let's get out of this mindset that we're closing a deal. We got our $1 and now we're, moving on to the next one. Let's make sure that once that client comes on board, that there is a consistent process in place to manage and cross-sell that account. And that's gonna involve marketing. It's gonna involve sales. And in Revenue Growth Engine, we outline some of the core processes you can put in place from a marketing and sales standpoint to make sure that you are cross-selling your ideal clients. In other words, what we're talking about here is how do we maximize client value? So today I want to introduce us to a metric that I think should be on the wall of every business, every sales team, every executive boardroom, every marketing team. And this is the metric right here. I'm going to write it on the whiteboard in big, bold letters. Revenue per client. And if you insist on using the word customer, that's fine. I would say customers go to Walmart to buy toothpaste. Clients go to advisors to get trusted advice. I'd rather have clients than customers, but you can say customer if you want. So what is your revenue per client? And this is a very important number. And how do you figure it out? Well, let me just say this is really easy math. You only have to answer one question. How many clients do you have? How many active clients do you have? And what's your revenue per client? So if your revenue is $10 million and you have 10,000 clients, what's your revenue? $1,000 per client per year, let's say, if that's 10 million per year. Okay, now I'm going to put that number on the wall. That's my scorecard number. This is my number because over here, remember, if there's, go back to the financial services industry, and I've seen this play out across multiple industries. If there's $1 here for current revenue and there's $7 in potential, if, over here, let's say there's what's my target revenue per client? And this is where, if you look and you go, okay, my revenue per client's $1,000, but if I added up every product line, every service that we sell, and I added that up, and let's say that an all-in 100% sold client that was buying everything that you offer. So let's see, 100% sold. Let's see my whiteboard to cooperate here. 100% sold. Let's say the target value, if they bought everything, was $5,000. Well, now, if my current revenue per client is $1,000 and my potential, if my clients were buying everything, is $5,000, then I'm running at a 20% cross-sell rate. I'm only realizing 20% of my potential. Now, that's going to be a very sobering number the first time you look at it, but I also want to encourage you. That's a very exciting number because if you look at your current client base now and you understand the current revenue per client and you understand what the revenue per client would be if they were all in, if they were 100% sold, then you can go, you know what? Wow, Darrell, if we got active in cross-selling more to our current clients, we could dramatically grow our revenue. And that's exactly what I'm finding as I talk to companies across multiple industries. That's exactly what I'm finding as I work with large companies, small companies. It really doesn't matter whether you're a solopreneur or you run a Fortune 500 company. The big question we have to ask ourselves is how well are we doing at maximizing our client value? And I'll go back to this article in the January, February Harvard Business Review. Just listen to these quotes from the author. He says, given the importance of customer value, leaders should track it as rigorously as they track other assets. I couldn't agree more. You track your cash in your bank account, you track your inventory, you track your accounts receivable. I think what you should be tracking is this number right here. What is your revenue per client right now versus the total potential? Because this right here represents potential value. If your revenue per client's 1,000 and your potential is 5,000, that means for every client, you have $4,000 of a year of unrealized value. Let me put it another way. It's like you put in an oil well and you have only extracted 20% of the oil out of that well. And here's what we do. We drill the oil well, we do all the work to get a new client, we get our deal, and then we go, let's go drill another oil well. A shout out to Tiffany Bova. And I'd love to have Tiffany on the she wrote Growth IQ. I'd love to have Tiffany on the Revenue Growth podcast soon. And I saw Tiffany speak a year or two ago at a technology conference. And she looked out at this room full of great salespeople. And she said, "You guys are crazy." Basically, I'm paraphrasing now. She said it much more eloquently. She said, "It's like you spend all this time and money to go find a gold mine. You get your first nugget of gold out of the mine, and you go back to the office and you high five, you ring the bell and go, 'We got a gold mine.' And then you move on to the next gold mine." Whoa, why not extract the value from your current gold mine, which is your current client base? And right now, as we move into 2021, and this is a make or break year for so many clients, for so many companies, for so many salespeople, I would propose to you that yes, we need net new business, but we also need to maximize the value of our current client relationships. How do we do that? Well, we put sales and marketing processes in place to cross-sell more to our current clients. Pure and simple. And guess what? They're not super complicated. They just require a process, and they require some leadership, management, and they require, a cultural shift to say, guess what? We don't just land customers, we expand inside those clients. We don't just get a deal, we maximize our value for each client. And really what that means in terms of you maximizing your sales to that client means that you're maximizing the value that you provide to that client. And so the question I have for you today is this: what is your revenue per client? What's your revenue per client? You could probably figure that out on a notepad right now. You don't have to know down to the, nth degree how many clients you have. I think you've got a pretty good idea. If you want to get that down to detail, call your CFO or call your accountant and ask. Take your total revenue for the last year, last quarter, last month, whatever period of time, divide it by the number of clients. There's your baseline. Then I want you to ask another question. If those clients took advantage of everything that we offered, all of our products, all of our services, all of our solutions, if they took advantage of everything that we offered, what would they be worth? And now you've got a delta between your current revenue per client and your potential value, your potential revenue per client. And guess what? We're all smart people. So now we put our sales hats on, our marketing hats on. We get in the same room, sales and marketing working together, aligned to answer the question, what can we do to maximize our value per client? And when we work together to maximize our revenue per client, that's when we're going to see results. So this is really exciting. And I just want to say to everybody out there, thank you. Thank you for doing this. In fact, I'd love to hear from you. So you can message me on LinkedIn, on Facebook. You can email me. You can also go to revenuegrowthengine.net. Here, I've got in the banner, text revenue to 21,000. That's the shortcut to get there from your smartphone. Text revenue to 21,000. And what we'll do is we'll begin to put tools in your hand so that you can begin to understand what the potential revenue opportunity is inside your client base. And you know what? Everyone asked Darrell, where is the low-hanging fruit? Where I've got to say, based on what I'm seeing out there and what I see talking with clients every day, Yes, net new business. We love net new business. But if you want the low hanging fruit for most companies, what does that mean? It means go to your current client base and look and go, how can we maximize our value to our current client base? So I hope you've been inspired today. I've had a lot of fun sharing with you. I look forward to following up, especially those of you who are watching later. Chime in the comments, like, comment, share this. Our goal, my goal at Revenue Growth Engine is to help great companies grow. Why? So they can create meaningful work and so they can give back to their communities. And so as we're doing this, Revenue Growth Live, you have my commitment that I'm going to bring you the best ideas to help you grow your revenue. So we'll see you next Tuesday, 12 o'clock noon Eastern time, 9 o'clock Pacific on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and hopefully soon on LinkedIn Live. And until next Tuesday, let's get going and let's get growing.